So I wanted to make this video about how to go through a life crisis, how to go through adversity, how to go through hard times and come out stronger and better than ever. Because guess what? Let's face it, right now the entire world is going through its own life crisis. Everything and everyone is being disrupted. And if you are not equipped with the right tools and mindsets to go through this and come out better and not bitter, you will be crushed. Don't be fooled by people who say, this is the great awakening, right? Everyone is now going to move up and have epiphanies and the vibe of the planet will rise. BS, right? Sure, for a select few, they will move up, those who have the right tools and mindsets, but unfortunately for the majority of people, they are going to get dragged down, okay? Just look around you. Depression is on the rise, suicide is on the rise, alcohol use, drug use is on the rise, violence is on the rise. This isn't the great awakening, this is the great divider, okay? It's going to divide those select few who move up and unfortunately the majority who move down. Okay, so in this video, I'm going to reveal these tools and mindsets so that you navigate this in a smart and beneficial way so that you thrive. And I listed here some of the more extreme examples, but even on a more subtle level, guess what? Look around you. Procrastination is on the rise. Laziness is on the rise. Feeling stuck is on the rise. Thinking smaller and smaller is on the rise. And people just being in this limbo state of waiting for things to go back to normal, that's on the rise as well. Okay, motivation is gone in the majority of people, and it's just gonna get worse and worse and worse. So really lock in, okay, what I'm going to share with you here is what has personally helped me not only survive, but thrive when it comes to adversity. So lock in and enjoy. So the first thing that you want to do is to take the charge out of it. What does this mean? It means removing any kind of exaggeration, overhype, or negative labeling around the event. Because oftentimes the thing that gets you the most isn't the event itself, it's how you label it and in turn feel about that event. Okay, something happens and then you label it as something negative and you feel bad about it. And then what happens? You feel bad about feeling bad. And then you feel bad about feeling bad about feeling bad, and it just spirals out of control. Okay, that there you want to nip in the bud, and the way to do so is to get really clear on what is adversity exactly. What is a life crisis exactly? Okay, you ask most people, they'll overblow it and say, oh, adversity, you know, I'm going through this life crisis and it's like the universe is against me, you know, the world, God, you name it, just put this obstacle in my way and for some reason they chose to punish me and everything's just going just downhill and it's just terrible and I don't know what I did to deserve this and why is it so hard and why can't things be easy and just go according to plan, so on and so forth. Okay, that there, no. Let's take the charge out of it. What is adversity? If you objectively look at it, it's simply when life doesn't go according to your plan. That's it. You have a plan of how you want your life to go. This is where I am, this is where I want to go. And adversity is simply an obstacle that may come in temporarily or permanently and say, nope, you're not going in that direction. That's it. That's all that adversity is. And then we create all the stories on top of that and why am I being punished, so on and so forth, when in reality, that's it. It's simply, hey, I had a plan, something happened, now I can't go down that route, okay? Now what this also means is adversity in and of itself isn't bad. It's just when something doesn't go according to your plan, not life's plan, not the universe's plan, your subjective plan. Okay, what is adverse to one person might actually be something amazing for another person and vice versa. Okay, so this here, really seeing it for what it is, takes the charge out of it, and it leads you to also asking yourself, and this is crucial, how do you know that this event is bad? How do you know? Do you really know? No, you know right now from your, subjective point of view, like that's where I want it to go. Why is this happening? But in the larger scheme of things, how do you know that this event is bad? What really defines a bad event? Okay, if you reflect back on your life and you hear these stories left and right, people who might, for example, get fired or a relationship ends. And at the time, they're like, this is so bad, adversity, I wanted my job to go this way and something happened and now I'm fired. I wanted my relationship to go this way and something happened and now I'm single. Why? Okay, in the moment, they believe it's bad, right? Their subjective point of view, yet you fast forward a year or two, you ask that same person, And they'll tell you, oh, that was the best thing that ever happened to me. If I were to have stayed in that original job, I would have been way less well off than I am now. That job actually being fired led me to find an amazing, even better job that I'm passionate about. Or that breakup, although in the moment I thought was the worst thing ever, actually led me to this new relationship, which is much healthier, that I never would have gone into if it weren't for that breakup. Okay, so in the larger scheme of things, those people who thought at first this is bad, turns out it wasn't. Okay, how do you know? And really reflect on how little you know, right? We think we know everything. Like, are you the universe? Are you God? Are you life that knows life's plan? No, you don't know all that. So stop pretending to be. I know what's best for me and the world. No, you don't. Reflect on how ignorant you really are and ask yourself, well, how do I know this is bad? And could it perhaps be good? And if it is good, how could it be good? Okay, there might be a lot of resistance hearing this, but this is absolutely crucial. This thing that, I can't believe this is happening. If I were to shift perspectives here, is there a way of viewing this as a blessing? Okay, I'm sure you've heard the term a blessing in disguise. If you want to receive the blessing, you must first let it come to you in disguise. And this adverse situation, this life crisis, can you perhaps try to see past the disguise and see the blessing for what it is? Okay, for example, it could create an opening for something new, right? You might be, if we take that job or breakup example, in a rut going through the motions, and the adverse situation, getting fired, is actually what forced you to go for that dream job. Or you might have been in a relationship where you're settling, it might be toxic to a certain extent, and then you break up and you're like, why? And that led you, it created the opening for a healthier relationship. So if things seem to be falling apart here, okay, on one hand it's falling apart, but whenever something falls apart, there's an opening for something new, right? Even when it comes to transformation, there is such a thing as the breakdown phase of a transformation. It's not just beautiful and peachy the entire way through. Things have to also break and fall apart. That's your comfort zone breaking and falling apart. If things are peachy, that's just you maintaining your comfort zone. Okay, so what is perhaps the hidden gift? And this also means, even zooming out more, really believing and having faith that life is on your side. Because what is the whole perspective of, why is this happening to me? Adversity, life crisis, if things could just go according to my plan, it's you not trusting life. Otherwise, you would trust that, hey, this is probably for the best. I might not be able to see it now, but I'm just going to trust. Okay, because guess what? You know what else would be considered adversity or a life crisis? You as a child, when your parents tell you to eat your vegetables, right? That, from a child's perspective, is adversity. It's, no, I don't want the vegetables. I want, whatever it is that you want. And your parents are like, no, you've had enough of that. It's time for you to eat your vegetables. It's healthy, it's good for you. You'll thank me later. No, and we freak out. Yet in the long run, we look back, hey, thank you for making me eat my vegetables. Same here. Perhaps this is your version of, I don't want to eat the vegetables, and just resisting it and feeling bad about it and feeling bad and feeling bad. No, zoom out. What if this adverse situation is your vegetables? What if there are hidden benefits? Could you perhaps consider that? And just by considering it, just by zooming out, and once more trusting that life has your best interests at hand, now your focus, your RAS, your reticular activating system, is engaged to start looking for those benefits. Okay, so once more, what is adversity? This is the first thing you want to do, is take the charge out of it. It's simply when things don't go according to my plan. It's not necessarily bad. It's not against the universe's plan. It's just my little plan that I had for myself. And perhaps this is a blessing in disguise. Perhaps this is life's guiding hand, guiding me to something better, guiding me to a better path that I didn't even see, yet I don't know it yet. And could I ask myself, how could this be good? How could there be benefits? And could I remain open to see that new path? Now, building on this whole idea of what if life is on my side, another question you can ask yourself here is, how would my experience change right now in this moment if I knew for a fact that in 1 to 2 years, everything would be okay? If I knew in the future that things would be okay and I would look back at this with gratitude, how would my experience right now in the moment change? And just by sinking into this perspective here, you'll already start experiencing some lightness, and it'll take once more the charge out of it. Another thing you can do is write down the worst case scenario. Just sit down and realistically, as objectively as you can, write down how bad will things actually get. Don't just trust your mind. Okay, as we discussed, your mind will spiral out of control and just paint the worst scenario. It's like everything's going down and it's gonna be terrible and you will be homeless and this is it and you're gonna die, etc., etc. Whoa. Let's take the charge out of that and let's try to objectively look at what's happening here in this adverse situation and what is the worst case scenario. And what you'll realize is that it's never as bad as you think it is, and never forget that once you go below your floor of success, necessity kicks in. This is huge. Okay, you've probably heard of your comfort zone before, and this is something that limits people massively when it comes to success. But what it also does is it prevents people from going too far into failure. Okay, there's a ceiling where as soon as you pass that ceiling, you get pulled down, but there's also a floor where if you go beneath that floor, you'll get pulled right back up. Okay, this is when necessity kicks in. This is when you wake up, right? You're like, whoa, things got so bad that I now just don't have a choice, and you start taking action when you were previously putting things off. Okay, people rely on this a lot when it comes to procrastination. They put things off till things get so bad that they finally take action. So realize that if things in your life reach that point where it just gets so bad, there will be this thing called necessity that will kick in. You'll start seeing opportunities you didn't see prior to that. You'll start taking action when you weren't taking action prior to that, and you will find your way back in your comfort zone. Okay, trust in the comfort zone. And one more thing you can do here to help take the charge out of it is involve other people, talk to other people. Okay, if it's just you with yourself, you and your mind, it's very easy to get led astray. But if you talk to people and they might give you more objective feedback, it can really help take that charge out of it. Now, be careful here. Talk to people who help alleviate the charge, not people who fuel it. Okay, there are people where when you talk about your problems, they love it and they'll just add to it. They'll be like, oh, that is horrible. You know what? That's way worse than you realize. What if that happens? What if that happens? And they actually make you feel much worse about it. Not those people. Talk to people who are much more grounded, who can inject some lighter perspective, some positivity, some hope, anything to just take once more the charge, the heaviness out of adversity. Make sure to also never take it personally and remind yourself that you're not the only one who goes through hard times. It's very easy to believe that it's just you, right? Why me? What did I do to deserve this? Why does everyone else have it so easy? Poor me, and going down that route. But that's not true. Okay, open your eyes and realize you're not alone. And just that, tapping into the power of unity. Imagine that there's a challenging task at hand. Okay, and you're the only one who does it, it just makes that task way heavier. Like, everyone else has it easy, why am I doing this challenging task? But what if you knew that around the world, at the exact same time, there were other people, you didn't even know those people, and they're going through that exact same challenging task as you, just knowing that. Somewhere else in the world, someone else is going through the exact same thing I'm going through is extremely empowering. And guess what? With adversity around the world, people are. In the past, people are. Okay, never forget that. It can also be extremely beneficial to read about people who have gone through hard times, worse times than you. Okay, you'll find a lot of them. One of the books that I recommend all my clients to read when it comes to adversity is Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning. And when you read that book, it's one of the most horrible books you'll ever read. Like, what you'll read in there, his experience in the concentration camps, surviving the concentration camps, I mean, it's so bad, you can't relate. And it just puts so much in perspective where you might be complaining about your hard times, and then you read that and you're like, wow, it could be way worse. So make sure to read books like that and even write down a list of people who have gone through adversity far worse than you and who have come out stronger, and go back to it from time to time. The next thing is use whatever helps you. Okay, no matter how weird or how strange that may be. So if I reflect back, for example, on some of the adverse times that I went through, particularly a media scandal that I went through back in 2014, one thing that really got me through it was connecting to my higher self. Okay, now What do I mean by this? I literally visualized a higher spirit me, a spirit being, if you will, that was guiding me, and we were going through life together. I know it sounds strange, I know it sounds out there, but hey, it kept me going. Whatever keeps you going, use it, okay? Another out there thing that really helped me was the idea of soul families, okay? This is extremely out there, where some people believe that, your soul, before it arrives here on earth, is, mingling with other souls, like your soul family, and you all decide to give each other certain roles, right? Like, I am going to come down as Julien, and you're going to come down as my own worst enemy. You're going to come down and you're going to screw me over, so I'm giving everyone the roles. And then we all are born and we all forget about it, and we live through life, and then at the end, once we die, we reunite and reminisce and laugh at what happened during life. So things that were done perhaps where I was like, why did they do this? Instead of going into victim and me versus, right, that competitive frame towards life versus a collaborative frame, I chose the perspective of, hey, what if that person's actually, part of my soul family? And we decided on this, that they were going to do that thing prior to being born, and we'll look back at this once we die and we'll laugh. Okay, once more, extremely out there, but that kept me going. Okay, whatever keeps you going. Another one, and this might sound extremely dark, but hey, it kept me going, was that I didn't want to end things, because once more, back in 2014, things got so dark, I was very close to just ending it. But at the time, I wasn't 27 yet, and it wouldn't be part of like the glorious, you die the rock star when you're 27. So in my mind, I'm like, just make it till you're 27. And guess what? That got me to keep going. And then, once you keep going, there's more realizations, epiphanies, and then you keep going from there. But if you're going through hard times, whatever works, use it. No matter how out there it is, use it. And beyond that too, another really helpful perspective is to realize that adversity, right? You have the ups and downs in life. That's what adds the contrast that makes life amazing. You wouldn't want things to go perfectly according to plan. What would that lead to? Apathy, right? If there's no unpredictability, if things just remain the same and everything goes perfectly well, you would be so bored and just void of life, right? That's like playing a video game where you have God mode on. Sure, at first you might be like, this is so fun. No matter what I do, I win. But then after a while, you're like, I'm over this, right? That, for example, going back to what we talked about in the beginning of this video, is a hidden benefit or a hidden gift that adversity gives you. It also makes the story of your life just epic, right? You don't want to tell your story and be like, well, I did that, and everything went perfectly well. It's like, no, and then this happened, and then I realized this, and there was the ups and the downs. That's what makes an epic story. If you view your life like a movie, that's what makes the movie exciting. You don't go to watch a movie where it's just predictable and flat. You want the ups and downs, okay? So reminding yourself of that, that's personally what I did, helped tremendously. It shows you what really matters. It reconnects you with authenticity. Sometimes the ego will lead us astray, and when things hit the fan, you suddenly realize like, whoa, what was I doing? Like, it snaps you out of that haze, and it also shows you who really matters. You don't want, as they say, fair weather friends. So when things fall apart, you actually see who your ride or die, your real friends and alliances are, right? Now, don't go all victim there too, like, why didn't that person stick by me? Why are they not my ride or die? Be thankful. Be like, hey, thank you, adversity, for showing me that, right? And with those ride or die friends, or even relationships, adversity adds so much depth and really strengthens the bond. That too, guess what, is a hidden gift that comes with adversity. It also forces you to confront things within yourself that you might have previously been unwilling to confront. One thing that I confronted, I mentioned that scandal in 2014, was self-destructive patterns that were running me. I would never have discovered that or even ventured or introspected into that like deep inner work if it wasn't for that. Okay, so there are always hidden gifts. A key saying is, don't shoot the messenger, look for the hidden message. Don't keep obsessing and fixating on the situation that didn't go according to your plan. Instead, perhaps thank the messenger and look for the hidden gift. Look for that hidden message. And one last thing that really was a game changer for me was learning how to let go. Okay, not trying to process everything mentally. If you try to process an adverse situation, when things didn't go according to plan mentally, that will simply lead to you fixating and looping on that thing. Instead, learn how to let go. Okay, and you let go through felt sensation. That was a game changer in terms of processing the whole situation and continuing to processing different situations much faster. And the last thing I'll lead you with here is that you can always deal with the present moment. Life will never throw something at you that you cannot deal with. And if you keep thinking about the future, like, now that this happened, what will happen then, and what will be the repercussions, and that starts taking you for a spin, pause and realize that future you will also be able to deal with it just as you are dealing with it right now. Okay? If there is fear around the future, it's because you're projecting current you into the future, too far ahead. But what you don't realize is that that future you is not the same as you right now. That future you will have different perspectives, different knowledge, will be much different, and will be equipped to deal with whichever future situation comes your way. Okay? You'll always be able to deal with the present moment just as you always have. So remind yourself of that. You got this. No matter what life throws at you, you got this. Welcome it, part of the experience, part of the movie, and just keep on going. Okay, everything will always be okay as it always has. So this year, key mindsets, key tools when it comes to processing and going through adversity. As I mentioned, for me, letting go was the key. That is the thing that really helped tremendously. If you'd like to learn more about this, if you'd like me to help you let go, teach you exactly how to let go and guide you through it, then definitely apply to join my private mentoring group. Okay, I take you by the hand. I teach you everything that I know when it comes to inner work, letting go, raising your level of self-esteem, freeing yourself from fear, anxiety, the past, you name it. Just click the link below this video. And as always, until next time.